Howard Webb is a liar and he is destroying the Premier League. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around this man right here, the head of the PGMOL, Mr. Howard Webb, who has been speaking about the Virgil Van Dijk situation that I've been talking about and a lot of other people have been talking about for the past few days. For those of you who've been living under a rock, Liverpool lost to Manchester City on Sunday, but the game was shrouded in controversy. Virgil van Dijk thought he had put Liverpool back on level terms with the score at 1-0, going into 1-1. But the goal was ruled out for offside. Both the referee and the linesman agreed that Andy Robertson was in an offside position and therefore the goal should have been chalked off. No VAR interference meant no on-field review for the referee, and the game was allowed to resume from a free kick to City. However, a lot of people were in uproar about this, yours truly included. We talked about it for the past few days, we said that we believe it's wrong, and now Howard Webb has come out with his own say on his little show with Michael Owen called Mic'd Up on Sky Sports. I found his comments to be somewhat interesting, considering what he has said previously about similar incidents like this. So we're going to be diving into it. We're going to be looking at a little bit about what he said, essentially. And we're also going to be talking about why I think he is destroying the Premier League. But before we get into all of that and much more, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And of course, I encourage you all to get involved in the comment section down below. Use and abuse that section. People talk to me on this particular topic of conversation. Would love to hear what you have to say. And without further ado, we're going to get on with the topic at hand ourselves. First and foremost, I can't believe I have to say this again, but for those of you that are hard of hearing, I'm not pinning this incident down as the be-all and end-all reason as to why Liverpool lost on Sunday. I can't stress that enough, people. I'm not whining, I'm not complaining. Liverpool were beaten, they were beaten fairly. They didn't deserve to win, City were awesome on the day, they carried out their game plan to perfection, they fully deserved the win. However, goals change games whenever they are scored. We know that to be a fact. Goals can give confidence to teams even if they haven't been playing that well up until that point. We know that. Liverpool were denied a potential gateway back into the game when Van Dijk's equaliser was chalked off for offside. This is the bit that I'm annoyed about, because if we're not annoyed about it, what happens later on down the line when a goal like this is also cancelled out for a team that could have gone on to win the game? Get 3 points. That may be the difference between Premier League relegation and Premier League survival. What happens if that is the difference between a regular finish and maybe a chance to play in European football for next season finish? What happens if that's a chance between being a runner-up and a Premier League champion? This doesn't just affect Liverpool. This could affect any other team down the line from incompetent decisions like this. For those of you who haven't seen it, Mo Salah's corner was met by Virgil van Dijk. His header was beautiful, perfect, well placed, beat Donnarumma, who was at full stretch, but the linesman flagged, claiming that Andy Robertson was offside in the line of vision of Donnarumma, and the referee agreed, the VAR agreed, and it was allowed to play on from there at still 1-0 to Manchester City. My thoughts instantly were, this is a BS decision. Useless decision. Pathetic decision. Ridiculous decision. Why wouldn't it be? Robertson is not violating any of the laws that we have talked about in previous videos. Go check them out if you haven't already. We talked about the offside law on Monday. We talked about the violations that are potentially there for players to obviously conduct should an offside occurrence occur. Robertson wasn't doing any of them. He wasn't doing any of them. So in my opinion, the goal should have been allowed to stand. Just because you're in an offside position does not mean you're offside. Case in point, the Bernardo Silva and John Stones incident from a year ago with Manchester City against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Case in point, Nathan Ake and Manuel Akanji, Manchester City against Fulham, sometime I believe before that game. Two incidents right there right off the bat that were very similar to this one. Goals given in both incidents. And both, to the best of my knowledge and opinion, were defended by Mr. Howard Webb himself. The head of the PGMOL, who has been the head for a good few years now. But in my opinion, I don't know how he's managed to stay the head of the PGMOL, considering, in my opinion, there's been little to no improvement in terms of the officiating of the standard of officials and officiating in the Premier League and the usage of VAR. It's gone downhill since he came in. It's gotten worse, especially in the Premier League. And he's the head of it. So, how is he still in charge? It baffles me. Because every single week, we don't talk about footballing topics. We should be talking about how great City were. We should be talking about how poor Liverpool were. We should be talking about the potential title race between City and Arsenal right now. And instead, we are talking once again about referees, VAR, PGMOL. They're the three topics of conversation that constantly take centre stage whenever a footballing weekend passes us by. It is a joke. It is ridiculous. And quite frankly, I'm getting bored and sick of talking about it. But here we are yet again. And last night, this guy went on his little show with Michael Owen and he talked about this incident. Owen throws up basic questions. Webb throws up very vague answers. And when I say very vague answers, they are the vaguest of vague. They're not definitive. They are not backed up by factual evidence. There's no real insight. There's nothing new. There's nothing that insightful in terms of, well, maybe to a casual fan you may see it this way, but to an ex-referee I see it this way. There's nothing like that. It's basically vague answers that in the end of all of the nonsensical BS that he spews, he basically ends by going, I do back what the referees did on the day, but I could also understand why people would think that the goal should have been given. So he uses that just sort of grey area at the end to go, I don't know what I'm doing. They don't know what they're doing, so just trust in their judgment, I guess. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't know why I watched... I don't even know why I watched the show, watched the clips, whatever. I don't even know why. What was I expecting? Was I expecting him to come out and go, yeah, we got it wrong. That goal should have stood. Was I expecting that? Was I expecting him to go, we got it wrong, we should make improvements in the future on this? No, because he always defends his referees. He always doubles down and defends the referees. Because if he doesn't, it makes them look bad. And then ultimately it reflects badly on himself as well. So of course he wasn't going to do that. I'd have a lot more respect for him if he can own up to mistakes that his organisation has made and say that we're going to be looking to make drastic improvements. I'd have a lot more respect if that was going to be the case. But it's never the case. Doesn't make improvements, doesn't do anything like that. It's simply a case of, I can understand why they arrived at that decision. Therefore, it's fine. I'm happy with it. But I can also understand why some people are unhappy with it. It makes the show pointless. It makes his answers even more pointless than they actually already are. It's just BS and pointless. That is the best way to describe it. It is pointless, pointless, pointless. Not pointless as in the TV and quiz show. It's actually alright. But this is pointless. Ridiculous. It makes no sense. And it's ruining the Premier League. It really is ruining the Premier League. It really, really is. Now, a lot of people will instantly go down the route of tribalism, agendas, biases, and I'm urging each and every single one of you to drop it. I've been trying to urge you all week to drop it. This needs support because I'm sick of talking about it. And the only reason we are talking about it is because people like Howard Webb are treating us as fans like idiots. The paying customers are being treated like idiots. Rather than us point the finger at them and say that they are to blame. Instead, we're pointing the finger at each other. And we're going, you're cheats. You're in cahoots with the PGMOL. You won the title last season because you and the PGMOL are in a sort of partnership. How come you got that decision but we didn't? How come they got that decision but they didn't? That's what we're doing. We're wasting energy pointing fingers at ourselves and each other rather than point the finger of blame at this guy and his organisation that he is head of. That he is constantly making a mockery of the best league in the world. Or the so-called best league in the world. How can we have the best league in the world when we've got the worst officiating in the world? Tell me that. The referees that are inconsistent, incompetent, useless. Every single week we are talking about them rather than the football. Every single week these referees are sporadically using the laws of the game as and when they please. For example, a goalkeeper can't hold on to the ball for any longer than 8 seconds. That's only been used a couple of times this season. I believe in the Newcastle game and Liverpool game. I believe there may have been one or two other examples that I may not be remembering off the top of my head. But there's also other examples of goalkeepers hanging onto the ball for longer than 8 seconds and nothing being done about it. So it's not just things like goals and things like that. There are also other laws and rules that are in play that are being sporadically used and only used whenever they want. For example, it's a very rare occasion that you see a foul throw be given. So, again, these things are just so sporadically used that it's just terrible. The standard of refereeing, the usage of VAR, it's all in decline. And it's this guy who's the root cause. And as fans, we're accepting this. That's why we go on social media and we go, #Liverpool. How come Liverpool have got another penalty? How come this team's got this? Like, how come Arsenal always get the bad end of referee decisions, but I look across at Chelsea and Liverpool and Man United and they get the same things that we don't get each and every single week? We waste too much energy on those stupid, pointless agendas when we should be looking at the root cause. And that's why we don't take each other seriously, because we constantly think it's against us. It's us against the world. It's that mentality. But it's not. If you were to step back and look at the bigger picture, everybody from top to bottom of the Premier League gets shafted at one point or another, and they also get helped at one point or another by these incompetent, inconsistent referees. And I've been here on this platform trying to seek some sort of good consistency from these officials by calling out these bad decisions whenever I see them. To the good of my ability and to the best of my consistency, I have defended the likes of Wolves, Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City themselves, and even Man United. I've tried to defend as many teams as I can whenever I've seen injustices happen, because I'm sick of incompetent referees ruining this game, and they are ruining the game. This is supposed to be the biggest and best league in the world. A league that requires a lot of money for match-going fans to view, whether it be match-going fans or whether it be fans that are watching from the comfort of their living room. They're paying a lot of money to see this level of football, and they are getting shafted. Why? Because referees think they're the star of the show. Why? Because for whatever reason, they think that everybody's turned up to see them rather than the football, rather than the clubs that they support, rather than the players themselves. Because they're just constantly stopping and starting the game whenever they please. They're sporadically using the laws and rules of the game. They are ruining this game of football that I know and love. And we make sacrifices. We sacrifice so many things to watch week in, week out. To watch 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 or 5 games a weekend from Friday night right the way through to Monday, and even more throughout maybe midweek games, say, for example. We sacrifice so much to watch this game, to pay a lot of money on different platforms like Sky and TNT for this muppet, his organisation, his officials, his referees to constantly overshadow and ruin the game that we know and love. And I'm sick and tired of it. I am sick and tired of seeing this constantly. I shouldn't know who these people are, but I do. I shouldn't know who they are. They should be nameless. They should be just nameless faces that are just there to officiate games to the best of their ability. But instead, we're constantly talking about them messing up, getting things wrong constantly. I'm not asking for perfection because I know they're not robots. I'm asking for just better. And to be fair, I don't think I'm asking for a lot, considering how, again, we're the best. We're meant to be the best league in the world. Financially, we're probably one of, if not the richest league in the world. And yet, the technology, the standards of officiating don't match up properly. Something is not right. Something is not right within either this organisation, the Premier League itself, the FA. Something is not right within the English game. I'm convinced of it. I'm convinced that there's something not quite right because it's not all matching up. It's not all matching up to what they tell us and what some of us believe. I'm just not convinced. I'm really, really not convinced. That's why I'm urging people to look at the bigger picture, drop your agendas, drop your tribalisms, stop calling out Liverpool fans that are, in your opinion, whinging and moaning and crying about this rather than try and actually state a point. Because I can guarantee you, if next week something benefits Liverpool, the same people that are saying stop crying and moaning will be first ones there going, oh, you got that. You got that. Where's your agenda now? What's this happening? Why is that happening? And I guarantee you as well, it will probably affect your team somewhere down the line as well. Take Liverpool out the equation. If you're a Chelsea fan that's moaning about Liverpool fans this week, it will probably affect a Chelsea performance at some point. Same with United, same with Arsenal, same with Sunderland, same with Newcastle, whoever. It will affect those performances. Because these refs are not just bad for one team only. They're bad for the entire league. And he is responsible for all of that. And nothing has improved. Nothing, in my opinion, has improved since he's been the head of this organisation. Those are the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Let me know in the comments section anything that I talked about in this video or anything that you guys have to say about this particular topic. I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and very greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video, or live stream, or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.